you very much, and I really appreciate the tremendous work that you and your staff do with the seniors here at the Heineberg Center. It's a absolutely wonderful facility for you. As I mentioned to you, the only regret I have now is that I have to be on my plane back to Washington when you're going to be sitting down to lunch. And the last time I was here, I really enjoyed that meal. I want to thank you all for coming, especially those of you who are missing exercise class. But you've got to go, okay? You hear me over there? This is nice of you to be here, but you can't use this as an excuse, all right? If you're like me, you're always looking for an excuse when it comes to exercising. So thank you very much for coming. The reason I'm here is because I've heard from you. I've heard from many seniors who are basically struggling on Social Security, which is very important to you. It's important to 141,000 Vermonters. I mean, that is amazing. 141,000 Vermonters depend on solid Social Security to help them pay their bills and make it through the month. And about 40% of the Vermonters who receive Social Security, it accounts for 90% of their income. So it's of real concern. So when we hear from you, we get phone calls and letters from seniors that are expressing their apprehension about how they're going to pay their bills when this year it's expected that there will be no increase in the cost of living for seniors. We take that very, very seriously. And it's particularly tough because about a third or so of our seniors are going to see their Medicare Part D premiums increase this year. So on the one hand, health care costs that you pay, and that's, of course, as you know, deducted from your Social Security check, that's going to go up, but your Social Security payment's going to be flat. Now, that's going to be tough. And I'm joining with a number of members of Congress who are looking into this and are introducing legislation to essentially take into account the real increase in medical inflation that affects seniors more than it does non-seniors. And I'm going to be co-sponsoring legislation that will ask the Social Security Administration to re-examine the cost of living index. I don't want to get too technical here, but the way it works now with Social Security is that there's a review of the cost of living index, and that depending on what that is, your payment will go up or more or less or not at all. Last year, in fact, the Social Security index resulted in the highest increase in your payment that we've seen in the generation. Now inflation is down. That's a good thing. But what the index doesn't reflect, the one that's used is called the Urban Index, doesn't reflect that healthcare expenses for seniors tend to be 2 or 3 times as high as they are for non-seniors. So there is another index that reflects the seniors' cost of living. And that index would indicate, if we use that, if we made reference to that, in fact, there'd be a little bit of a boost for the seniors, taking into account the real-world circumstances that you have with medical inflation. So I'm going to be joining with many of my colleagues in the House to sponsor legislation to adjust the cost of living index to reflect accurately, not a special deal, but accurately reflect the medical impact of cost inflation on you. Our goal with Social Security has always been to have it be solvent, so Social Security is there to meet its monthly obligations to you who've paid into Social Security Trust Fund all of your lives. So we've had a goal to make it solvent, and then number 2, to make it secure, and number 3, to make it meaningful. And that requires adjustments and review, and I think it's overdue for us to have an adjustment in the cost of living index that applies to seniors so that it accurately reflects medical inflation. If we're successful in passing this legislation, the Social Security Fund will remain solvent. It's solid. Actuarial people are telling us until 2037. So this can be done and maintain the solvency of Social Security, because I think all of us know that bottom line, it's got to be secure and safe. Now, where we have a threat in this country to income security is with the cost of health care. And that is an issue that affects seniors very directly, as I was mentioning, but it affects the whole economy. You know, when you have health care costs that are increasing 2 to 3 times the rate of inflation, 2 to 3 times the rate of wage growth for workers, or profit growth for companies, then everybody is going to be hurt unless we have a health care reform that slows the escalating cost of health care. But the people on the front line who are experiencing this very dramatically and immediately are seniors. Because when we get older, that's when we need more health care. And if you have inflation, the cost, it's not just the amount of health care you need. You know, we're all going to need more health care as we get older. But if the inflation is going up, and that's when you're spending your health care dollars, it's going to affect you more. So we have a common cross-generational interest in slowing the rate of growth of health care spending and getting better health care quality. That's something we share, young, middle-aged, and old alike. So I appreciate the calls that I've received from Vermonters across the state about their health care, their Social Security benefits. And the step that I'm taking with many of my colleagues is to propose legislation that will change and more accurately reflect the cost of living increases that seniors face, particularly in the area of health care. So I look forward to working with you, keeping you posted on the progress of the legislation in Washington, and doing everything I can to maintain the solvency and the security of the health care system that is so important to America and so important to Vermont seniors.